Grell, how are you feeling about Canada? Glass half full or half empty after that?
Half full. I think they did a lot of things they wanted to do. If you look at just the pure football, they pressed the ball. They made it a difficult game for Bosnia. They made some defensive mistakes as well, for sure. And the biggest thing, and I always remember this with a Jesse Marsch system and with his players, they're so amped up to win the ball back and to press the football and play at a high tempo. You saw the quick throw-ins a couple times called Bosnia sleeping. That when they have the ball in situations to create, they need to create quality, that they're still in that intense moment. So they go cross and it's like boom, or they go play a through ball and it's heavy. And a big theme would always be like slow down. Like once you have it and you're in and around the box and you can create these moments, you have to be able to slow down to see what's going on, to create the little bits of quality. And they never did. They never slowed down with the being at home, with the intense atmosphere of the World Cup. I think they just never found that bit of quality. Every ball was like a cement pass, man. It was just boof, cross, just whipped across, and not the details were missing. Saying that, though, Bosnia cleared a couple of them off the line, the crossbar as well. So Canada probably unlucky in the end not to get the job done. Yeah,
100%. I also think to that moment of quality that you're talking about, I thought the celebration from Larin was really pivotal, because obviously we know he did well for Southampton. Obviously he had a terrible end with what happened with that mess. But when you look at as a striker point of view, if I'm the fourth choice striker, they had the two that started, they brought Promise David into it as well. Then they bring me on. That goal he scored and that celebration, like, hey, I'm the man. That was quite an interesting moment as well. And wonder how Jesse Marsch would handle. Actually, how have you seen him handle that in your time? Because all strikers have got egos. All strikers want to play and score. But when you're sitting on the bench and you'll see lads miss great chances and you come on and score, he's going to expect to score now.
He's done it to me, and I've scored goals, and I've taken it personal, like you always do.
Of course.
You know. And also, Larin had a good season with Southampton. He scored 8 goals. It was a transfer over there, and then everything that's happened with him there as well. Like, right, he thought he might have been going to the Premier League at one point. They were the favorites to go to the Premier League. Obviously, that whole scandal happened with the cheating, with the spying. So he's got that frustration in it. Then he comes at home and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, starts on the bench, one of the last guys brought on, and then scores that goal. So erupted with a lot of emotion. I think Jesse will embrace that. I think Jesse will respect that. And I think Jesse now has something that he has to think about moving into the next game with who he's going to start.
How was your experience, though, Grell? If you did have a good game and you did score with Jesse, would you find yourself in the starting 11 in the next game, or is he more so he needs to see it over a longer period of time?
You would find yourself back in the starting 11. I think that's one of the things I remember about him the most as well, is that he holds people accountable. In the MLS, there's a system, just quickly, that there's DPs, designated players, 3 guys that don't count towards the salary cap. Those guys are usually on $5-6 million bucks, right? And normally they get a different treatment, not under Jesse. They were held accountable the same. So if they didn't score, if they didn't perform, to the bench.
Who was one of them under Jesse, by the way?
Bradley Wright Phillips.
And he would put him on the bench.
So can you imagine Bradley Wright Phillips, I think he's the record goal scorer for New York Red Bull. He's one of the top in MLS. He's one of the best goal scorers I've ever played with. And Jesse would tell him, hey, I think you messed this up. I think you need to make this movement more. I mean, that's incredible. Maybe as a manager, I don't do that because, like, Troy knows how to score goals, right? I'm not gonna try to tell him how to play the game. He knows how to play the game, right? So, but he would hold them accountable, like, hey, I think you were late here. I think you should try this. I think just seeing that as being one of the other guys, you're like, oh, okay, we're all on the same page and we're all on the same.
Sets an example.
We're all part of it. So he'll have a good problem now to worry about with Larin scoring that great goal.
100%.
Speaking of strikers, what about Jonathan David then? How will he be feeling after that match, Troy?
He should be used to it. This is what he's been doing. Again, you come across like you're like some jealous, bitter person. I couldn't care less. I want all strikers to do well, but the chances he misses, we spoke about it at half-time, he missed a big chance, and then he just goes missing. And you're meant to be the star of Canadian football alongside Alphonso Davies. You're meant to be the star, the big name everyone looks to. You're 1-0 down at 60 minutes, and you're the first one off. That's not my opinion. That's not your opinion. That's just a fact that happened. I think it's a real crossroads in his career now. Like, who are you? Who do you want to be? Who's the player? Are you the player that we saw go on that great run a few years ago? Got, was it nearly 30 goals?
Yeah.
And then this one now that we're seeing over the last year and a half has been, he looks a shadow of himself. He looks scared to embrace the moment and go, right, I'm going to be the one to score.
How do you change that, by the way, though? Because you spoke about the roller coaster of this, and from the media, like you said, it comes across like everybody's on him. You know, they say, does he want it enough? He had that one good season, so the potential is, of course, there. But that must frustrate him as well to hear the criticism, to say, to make it personal and say, is the effort there? Is the intensity there? Is the finishing there? How do you respond?
I always struggle when people talk about effort, because effort is always there. No player walks on the pitch and just walks around. They're running. Maybe they're a little bit late to a press and it looks bad, but they're always going to have effort there. He's obviously takes care of himself. That's why he's fit and available. But I think if it was me, it would be personal now. Again, put Canada aside for 1 second. We saw games in Serie A in Juve where they went with McKennie through the middle and had two strikers on the bench.
Top, yeah.
Now, me, personally, as a striker, things are being tipped over. We're having a serious conversation.
It's a big insult.
You're saying I'm not good. Not only am I not good enough, there's somebody else in our team that has never played that position. You think he's more trustworthy than me. So I would take that personally. This, I thought, was going to be a moment for him to come out in his home country, sorry. World Cup, the stage is set. It's a good game against Bosnia as well. Like, you know, you're going to get a lot of shots, a lot of chances. And I was like, was that it? When you're leaving a game, whether it's a player or as somebody who's working in the media, you want to be able to go, that person was good. Oh, I saw that. What did we see? We saw one missed chance. And the game just passed him by. I don't know. There needs to be a serious conversation with the manager and be like, do you really want this? Because we've got 3 other guys who do really want it. Maybe it is humiliation of him sitting on the bench and not coming on. Maybe it's something like that really reignites him. But you have to get him playing, because when someone's had one good season, you know they're capable of it. So they need him to score, and they need him to be better.
Seems like Troy's being harsh, and we're being harsh, but it's actually, we're not. It's like a heart surgeon, right? You're working on someone. You can't make a mistake. You make a mistake, the guy dies, right? Or brain surgeon, same thing. Strikers are like that. Strikers are, you might get that one chance, and in that no doubt about it, he scores the first goal, Canada win. No doubt about it, because they were all over Bosnia.
And it changes the narrative around him.
Changes everything. And all of a sudden, the fans are into it, and all of a sudden, they start rolling.
How many times have you played with somebody who scores and they just get bigger?
100%.
Get quicker, they get stronger.
100%.
Sorry.
And he makes some okay other plays, right? There's one play where he goes back, and he's the one who stops the counterattack. He goes back from like 20 yards, and that's great. And that's awesome. And he pressed probably the way Jesse wanted, and that's great. But strikers, at the end of the day, you got to score goals. You're there to score goals. That's like the Jokeres conversation.
Yeah.
When they're like, oh, man, he ran the channel great. You don't get signed for that kind of money because you run channels. You don't get signed for that money for hold-up play. As a striker, you get signed to score goals. And in that big moment where they needed that goal, he kind of flipped the script on them. And you can also miss. Keeper can make a great save. You can miss the post, whatever. But he took it wrong. The connection was bad. You could see the lack of confidence in him. And then Bosnia scored, which made the game triple hard for Canada.
I think as well, another thing that's probably looming over him is his future, with his club team, because obviously you've spoken at length about how it's been disappointing with Juventus. If he had a good World Cup, he would have maybe a lot of other suitors, right?
See, this is where I will be harsh now. I'm not playing for Juventus, my club team. I'm the man for the national team at a World Cup, and I'm playing against his team. You watch this, and I'm at home. I know everything. It's not like, Qatar or somewhere else where I've not been. I know where I am. I know the hotels. I know the people. They're going to treat me like a superstar. And I get to showcase who I am, and then also stick 2 fingers up to my club and go, this is why I should be playing. But also, how many players move for massive money because they scored 3, 4, 5 goals in the World Cup?
Huge.
Puts you on a different market. So for me, I thought he was poor. I think he needs to have a real look at himself, and also start to question your friends and your family at that point, don't you? Like, who's really telling him the truth? Like, it's not always somebody else's fault. At some point, you've got to deliver.
The numbers behind his day as well. Let's just have a look at those with the graphics, because this is from SofaScore. 61 minutes, as your boys mentioned, 3 total shots, 1 big missed chance, 0.37 expected goals.
See, like I like a stat like anybody, but 0.37 for a shot that's on the floor, not bobbling.
Not an easier chance you're going to get.
And you're in the middle of the goal, just above the penalty spot there. They're saying he's taken that shot. And it's, what, the same if you had 10 shots, 3 of them you should score. Now,
if you had that one,
based on the XG there. So for every 10 shots you should score 3. How many times in training would we do those drills where it just gets rolled back?
That's 8 out of 10.
There you go.
Maybe 9 out of 10.
And I just think this is where I understand SofaScore have their algorithms and things of that nature, but come on, like it's not good enough to be 6.3, 61%, 61 minutes played. 3 shots. It's just not good enough.
And that's the thing. He's their record goal scorer. He is their man. And Jesse said, 60 minutes, see you later. I'm going to pull you. Because he was not doing his job. So that's credit to Jesse, because he's not scared to make big decisions. So we'll see who starts in the next game.
And they had to come from behind, didn't they? As we mentioned, we're going to break down the goals just now, because Bosnia Herzegovina, we talked about them stepping up in big moments. They like the chaos, don't they? They like to be the underdog. They like to be in maybe a situation where they don't necessarily have all the support, as we saw in the qualifiers. This is kind of the dictation of how their first goal went, Troy, to get you off to a good start as well with your bet.
Yeah, it was a decent start. And again, we're showing obviously the little pass in the up, back and through. Then go down the right-hand side. Obviously, they end up nicking this now to make a corner. And then obviously from the corner, they score. But the sad part with it all is when you look at this, and I've done really well to make this out, by the way. This is worse than my school homework. But actually, when you look at this, a lot of the chances are in the goal, in the 6-yard box. That's what they're going to do, aren't they? They're going to put balls into the box, be strong, be physical. And unfortunately, Canada couldn't really deal with it. And again, when you take it back to club football, well, who was the best at set pieces? Arsenal. Look how successful they were. I think a lot of international teams will go, OK, if we can take that template, not going to have as good players, all of them, but solid, know their formation, be difficult to beat, and then hit you on the set pieces.
Are they the happier of the two teams, Grell, do you think, all things considered?
Yes and no, because, I mean, it was a difficult game for them being at the host nation's country and playing that game away from home. And they also had the lead. I don't think they managed it well. They didn't really play enough.
Second half,
They also had, like, 2 or 3 really good chances. Begovic, who was a quality striker there, he was 1v1 with the goalkeeper. All he has to do is slot it. He tries to go around them.
Yeah.
That could have been 2-0, right? So when you talk about moments in the game, that could have been game over for Canada right there. But so they let Canada hang around and they let them in the game. The goal, I think, was difficult for them because they were in good shape, and Larin somehow he got the bounce there, and then it was a fantastic finish. So, but they were in good shape when they conceded the chance. So both teams will walk away and have plenty of adjustments to make and plenty of things to look at. And this is the goal that Larin scores here. And you know, you see how tight and central they were. So were the Bosnian players. There's not a lot of space to work with. Promise David was also brought in before Larin, by the way. He was the one that was involved also in that build-up, and then Larin just smashes it home with the finish. And it was a big moment, important moment. 70th minute. From there on, they put a lot of pressure on Bosnia, not able to get it done, though. Obviously 1-1, and they'll both walk away looking at like, hey, we need to fix 20 different things.
Yeah.
Canada have their first ever points in a World Cup. This is the scenes in Toronto at one of the many watch parties that's happening over with our neighbours to the north. Got to be a good feeling, hasn't it? And a good day for them as one of the host countries. Even though they didn't get all the points, they at least got something from the first game.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, what it represents, and like we say, the emotion of the day and being at home and everything else. And also, they were very close to breaking history, or joining history with Qatar and being the only home nation to start the game with a loss in the history of the World Cup. So they were very close to that as well. A lot of unlucky moments, too. They could have got the job done. So plenty to look at, pick at, and move forward. But I thought Jesse would be happy with a lot of moments as well.
Let's have a look at some of the ratings then from SofaScore. We just had a look at, obviously, one with Jonathan David. But overall, this is how they went. You've got a couple of ones that are in the 7s, most of which are in the 6s. Jonathan David, 6.3. Anything that you disagree with here, Troy, at a glance?
Buchanan. How Buchanan was considered worse than the 2 strikers is, or level in that regard. I thought he actually gave a lot more in terms of dynamism. Just, again, to Grella's point, really poor with the final delivery, but he was pacey, direct, did everything right. Yeah, again, I think it's a fair description, though, isn't it? That the 2 fullbacks were probably their better players, and then the front 4 didn't really offer you a great deal. Like, that's why they had to make so many changes. And, yeah, I think that's about fair. But, you know, again, there's so much talent there. And I don't understand why they put in such a poor performance on your first. If this was a third game, you're tired, there's a few injuries, you go, okay, fair enough. This is the first game.
Do you think they were a bit nervous, though? Any nerves come into it?
I mean, respectfully, if you're nervous playing against Bosnia, then you can't really be expected to do anything moving forward.
Also, if you're nervous, like in a big game, I always found that, like, once the game starts, there's no more. I never felt nerves once the game started. Like, once you control the first ball and play it, like, normally everything just goes blank. At least it did for me. But Larea there, he's the guy who loses the marker on the set piece, and the goalkeeper also goes out fishing and is nowhere near the play. So 7.8 surprised me a little bit. I thought he was okay, sort of in the field of play, but on the set piece he got done. And just what Troy said, the front four. So if you imagine the two strikers and the two wide men, those scores for me are not that surprising. I'm surprised Liam Miller got 6.8 because I thought his final delivery, I mean, he had a couple moments where he went by guys, showed some pace, but his final delivery, what he's there for, again, that's why he gets paid in the big moments, was not enough. So them all being sort of the low sixes would kind of make sense for me.
Here's another example as well, though. Like, when you're talking about the quality of game, the best was 7.8. So we would say in normal football, be a 7 out of 10 every single week. And look how many were short of sevens. And that's I think, where you
and these are quite generous. These are a little generous, too, some of these. But yeah, I think it's pretty accurate.
OK, what about Bosnia then? On the other hand, this is the ratings that came in for their 11. Obviously, the substitutes as well. We'll talk about Cyle Larin in just a second. Kolasinac came in at an 8, Katic as well, 8.3. So overall, they had a couple of players that were ranked a lot higher.
I mean, if that ball doesn't hit the crossbar and goes in, if a couple of those other chances go in, do those guys get those ratings? I'm not so sure. I thought they were okay.
Katic was a clearance off the line as well, do you remember?
Yeah, the clearance came off Kolasinac.
No, that was the one that hit the bar, and the one that gets headed back in.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why those two are higher as well. But again, all in all, the front four weren't great. Could have been better. I'm not even going to try and say the young fella's name down here. I'll leave that. What's that, Poppy? Give me that one.
Terovic.
OK, cool.
At the end.
At the end, yeah. So I thought there was moments because
quarter of her name.
Yeah, because he's so predominantly left-footed. When he was coming down on this right side, he got to great positions around here where you're just saying, just feed it across there. He kept cutting back in on his left foot. And that's why I think his rating was so low, because there was no real end product to that. But all in all, I think Bosnia will be very happy. It's got to be like that for them to be successful in this. That back line has to be unbelievable. A little bit surprised we didn't see Edin Dzeko towards the end there. But I get it. When you're in this moment, you're like, OK, let's just keep what we've got as opposed to try to win the game.
And it's only their second World Cup, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to welcome in someone that played in the first World Cup that Bosnia and Herzegovina were in. Asmir Begović is back with us, who we saw in the pre-show.
Oh.
Here he is.
How about to say, is that his house? That sounds about right.
Asmir, good to see you. How do you feel after that performance and after the 1-1 draw today?
Well, I feel pretty good, I have to say. I think when you look at this game, it was always going to be difficult to play the host nation in your first game at the World Cup and everything that comes with that. So I think the team can be very satisfied. I think everyone involved, it's a good start, gets you into the tournament. I think the game went as we all expected. Bosnia very happy to sit in, defend, soak up pressure, counter-attack when they can in transition. And, of course, the biggest advantage they have against most teams is their set plays. So I think it was a good point. We'll take it and we move on from there.
Asmir, just look at it from an attacking point of view. I thought you got some really good areas from that shape. But in the final third, just that, not lack of quality, lack of clarity is the word I would use in terms of what was the right pass or what was the decision to whether to shoot or to cut back. How does the group move forward? Because it is a very young group and it's very difficult to learn on the job in the World Cup, as you know.
Roy, it's been the difficulty for this whole team over the last couple of years. We don't have a lot of options in attack. We have two young wingers, one Cyle Begović, who came on in the second half, obviously Asmir Begović on the right wing. These are young lads. You know, there's a lot of expectation on them to try and produce the goods, but it's really, really difficult. So, and after them, there isn't many options really on the bench for Sergei Barbares to choose from. The one missing piece, maybe the two missing pieces, of course, Edin Dzeko, you know, and Haris Tabakovic, who are two frontmen who can do a little bit of something out of nothing. You know, you can just get 1 yard as a winger, cross the ball, put in the box, and they're going to make something happen. But now those guys are missing. There's a little bit of more expectation on these wingers to make something happen, and we don't have many goals in midfield. So really, it is difficult. That's why the pressure is on those defenders. And I thought the back four were magnificent today, really, with everything that was coming their way. It was so important for them to be solid. And yeah, we wish we could have had a Troy Deeney or Mike Grella in there, but it's not meant to be.
Be careful what you wish for, man. But I will say, there was two big moments in the game for me. Jonathan David miss in that very simple miss at the top of the box, right? Probably they score, it's in Canada, they go on and make the game very difficult for Bosnia. But then there's another one, Dimitrovic on the other side. He's alone with a goalkeeper. All he has to do is really slot it. He tries to take the extra touch. So do you feel like the point is lucky or unlucky? Because if Dimitrovic scores, that's 2-0, game is over. So in moments, I felt like you guys were lucky, and then in other ways, I feel like you were a little bit unlucky.
I think when you look at the game as a whole, I think it's a really good point. I wouldn't say it's lucky. I think, again, if Canada won with the pressure they had later on in the game, you wouldn't be too upset as a neutral. But I think as a Bosnian, it was a really good point, a well-earned point. Really fortunate that we went ahead. I think if we were chasing the game with the lack of options that we have, that would have been probably a much trickier situation. So the fact that we were able to get that goal and have something to hang on to was crucial for us tonight. But we take the point and we go on from there.
Asmir, I've got a question for you. I'm hoping this is right because one of the producers shouted in my ear. Did you play for the Canadian youth team? Is that correct?
I did. Troy, I grew up in Canada. I played in all the youth national teams up until the under-23s. I was never capped. There was a couple opportunities for me to be capped, and then later on the call from Bosnia came, and then I had to make a decision. So I've represented both Canada at youth levels and then Bosnia at senior level.
Oh, fair play. Well, other than the hockey stick on your left-hand side there, well, I actually wouldn't have known that. I'd have known you a long time. Just wanted to talk to you about Canada then really quickly. Will they be happy? I was a little bit disappointed with the likes of Jonathan David and the strikers. Obviously, that's where my eyes are going to go. But I thought they ran around a lot. They were very industrious. But you need a bit more than that at this level, surely.
Well, Canada soccer's come a long way. I mean, from when I was playing there to where they are now and the options they have and the team they have, the squad, the strength and depth. You look at some of these clubs these players are playing for, they've come a really long way. It's not easy to host the World Cup. Listen, I've never been in that position. So I think that would have weighed on them a little bit, especially at the beginning of the game, because Canada grew into the game. They got better. The substitutions were really, really important. I think, Cyle Larin's finish was something you two would have approved of. So I think for them, it was a good start again. I think it's important for both teams. I've been there in 2014, Troy. We played Argentina in the opening game. We were unbelievable, I thought, that day. But unfortunately, Messi, a little bit of magic. They won the game 2-1. All the praise in the world, but we lose the game and we're on the back foot. And the pressure immediately ramps up. So the fact that both teams are on the board, Canada's next game against Qatar is, important for them to win. You're then on 4 points, and you're really looking good for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
So true. I think both teams.
That's why he's so good.
Just a casual name drop of Messi as well.
Yeah, just casual.
Playing against the likes of the best. Asmir, thanks so much. We hope to see you again soon as Bosnia go on.
See you guys. See everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so obviously,
what a nice human.
So nice. I know, I didn't realise.
Made you feel a bit weird, didn't it? Actually having nice people to talk to.
Well, he threw me off when he said he wants to have Grella on his team. That's nice.
Yeah, I said, well, take it easy. You don't get any extra money. You get what you get.